Hey, what's going on, my fellow backyard astronomers and amateur astronomers alike? This is Michael Skoukakis coming at you live from Buckeye, Arizona, and I have another review this morning for you, and we're going to be going over what eyepieces I've decided to go ahead and utilize for my telescopes. And without further ado, let's get started on that real quick. Now, with eyepieces, there's lots of choices and direction that you can take to go ahead and equip yourself and your telescope, whatever setup you may have, for the best optical performance you can possibly get. Now, with amateur astronomy and the astronomy market as it is today, there's lots of choices. There's hundreds of choices and hundreds of avenues you can take to get all kinds of equipment. And the pricing can be very low and it can be very high. So with me being an amateur astronomer on a budget, I realized right off the bat that I couldn't go out and buy the latest Teleview eyepieces. I couldn't go out and buy the latest Meade Instruments eyepieces because some of these eyepieces are running in excess of $400 to $600 minimum to get them, and they're primarily in the 2-inch range. And I'll show you guys that later on in this video. So I had to basically, I had to come together in the middle of the bridge, so to speak, with quality versus price. I couldn't afford to really go out and spend $200 or $300 each on an eyepiece. I mean, it'd be very expensive. If you have the money to do that, by all means, go ahead. I mean, whatever you can afford to do, go ahead and do it. But being an amateur astronomer on a budget, I had to go with the next best thing. And what I decided to go with was the Zhumell Z-Series Planetary Eyepieces. Okay, this right here I'm holding is my 18 millimeter. I have exactly 4 of the Zhumell Z-Series Planetary Eyepieces. I have the 18 millimeter. Okay. I have the 14.5 millimeter eyepiece. Let me show you there in the camera. There's the 14.5. Okay. I also went and grabbed myself a 12.5 millimeter. This one I'm holding right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably one of my favorite eyepieces. It has a very nice balance and power versus the aperture, and the detailing is very, very well done with this eyepiece. The resolution and just the image detail that this little eyepiece provides, this little 12.5 millimeter from Zhumell, is outstanding. It rivals a lot of my Meades. And I got, lastly, the 9 millimeter. Now, I firmly believe if you have a telescope, whether it be a Dobsonian, Schmidt-Cassegrain like an LX90 or Celestron, an equatorial EQ mounted reflector or achromat, or APO, refractor style telescope, you can't go wrong with a good 9 millimeter. The 9 millimeter is very important for a couple reasons. One, this is going to show the best detail of a planetary target or moon target for the aperture of the telescope. And secondly, 9 millimeters are very critical for checking your collimation on a Schmidt-Cassegrain. And when I need to adjust the collimation, which you frankly have to do after a road trip, moving the telescope around, it does move. And the 9 millimeter eyepiece really shows me the diffraction, we call it the collimation donut, and this really helps me nail in perfect collimation on my LX90 behind me over here. So I also got the 9 millimeter. Now, if you're wondering, the Zhumell Z-Series Planetary Eyepieces are basically, they are a clone of the Orion Edge-on Planetary Eyepieces. They are a dead clone of the same eyepiece. The Zhumell Z-Series Planetary Eyepieces are made in Taiwan, okay, and they I'll give you a couple little specs here. They come in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They come in 7 focal lengths or millimeters. The highest they have is the 18, which I showed you right here. Is the 18 millimeter. Okay, there's a Zhumell. Okay. They go from 18 millimeter to 14.5 millimeter, 12.5 millimeter. They go from a 9 millimeter, again, which I showed you. I already have that one. Okay. They go to 6 millimeter, 5 millimeter, and they go to a 3 millimeter. They go to a very powerful 3 millimeter eyepiece. Now, 3mm I decided not to go with because that would really be pushing it with the LX90 8-inch. With a 3mm eyepiece, the image, you're not going to get any detail. It's going to be so magnified that you're not really going to get a lot of detail out of it. However, I am thinking about picking up at least the 6mm. I know that the 8-inch Schmidt Casagrins can handle a 6mm eyepiece. Of course, I will be completely maxing out my resolution on the telescope system itself. So they come in seven sets or 7 sizes. And the interesting thing about these eyepieces is all of them across the range, from the sizes all the way from 18mm to 3mm, they have a 55-degree apparent field of view. Okay, so it's 55 degrees of field of view, no matter if you're using an 18mm or you're using a 3mm. And that really, basically what that translates into is, as you guys can all see, I do wear glasses. Okay, and quick case in point, if you guys in my videos, you'll see this little piece of tape that I have on the left lens right here, basically holding my glasses together. That's because one night I was out back with my telescopes. I took my glasses off and I put them in my chair. When I got up to adjust something on the LX90, and I sat back down, and all I heard was a crunch. Well, every amateur or backyard astronomer who wears glasses has probably done that. I'm one of them. I sat on my glasses. Just trying to save up the money right now so I can get some new ones. So if you ever see that little white thing, it doesn't mean I'm a nerd. It just means that's what's holding my glasses together right now. So, anyway, enough of that. So, I went with the Zhumell Z-Series Planetary Eyepieces because Zhumell is primarily known for their binoculars. They spare no expense when it comes to building and designing binoculars. And recently, as far as maybe 4 or 5, 6 years ago, Zhumell decided to get into the amateur telescope market. And they started coming out with some telescopes. A case in point, they have an outstanding line of Dobsonians. You guys have probably seen this. They have it from the 8-inch. It's called the Z8 all the way up to the Z12, the 12-inch Dobsonian reflector telescope. Ladies and gentlemen, these telescopes rival the best Meade light bridges. They rival Orion's telescopes. I mean, Zhumell is very customer oriented. Like we were talking about, you guys probably heard my little rant against Meade on my channel. Zhumell is one of those companies that really cares about what their customers tell them. They really listen to the feedback as far as quality, what the customers expect, and what the customers want. And basically, Zhumell answered the call with those Dobsonian reflector telescope designs, and they answered the call with their Z-Series Planetary Eyepieces. Okay? Like I told you, these are an exact duplicate. They are a clone of Orion's edge-on planetary eyepieces, where mainly, I mean, look up Orion here. Well, first of all my eyepieces from the Zhumell series I got here, I got off of telescopes.com, or formerly known as hayneedle.com. And I got these all for about $55 to $65 because they always have in sales. And every time I see one of these on sale, I grab one. Okay, so they had 4 sales so far, and I got 4 of their eyepieces. I'm waiting for the next sale to come so I can go ahead and get the 6mm, and that'll pretty much wrap up my eyepiece selection as far as the planetaries go. So a couple little facts on the Zhumell planetary eyepieces, all the way from the 18mm to the 3mm. So again, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They offer 7 eyepieces in this Z series with magnification powers of 18mm down to 3mm. Okay, as I said, 3mm is pushing it on a Schmidt Cassegrain or a refractor. You may be able to get away with it with a big Newtonian or something like that, or a Dobsonian telescope, or reflector telescope with a focal 4 ratio or something like that. But if you're using a refractor, a Schmidt, a Maxitoff telescope, a Schmidt Newtonian, you want to stay at least 6 and above. You don't want to go any more than that. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of fallout with your image quality. You're not going to really see a lot. It's going to magnify too much, where there's not going to be any kind of resolution at all. These eyepieces, all the way from my 9mm up to my 18mm, perform outstanding on targets such as Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Uranus, Neptune. I've seen them, and you really get a lot of high resolution out of the lens, the elements of the glass and stuff like that. Okay, so they're very, very well. And honestly, for 55 to 65 bucks, you can't go wrong. They're heavy. They're built good. They have a solid construction to them. They have, all the eyepieces have the little rubber grip around them so you can grab them when it's cold out or you have gloves on. All of them come with a retractable rubber eyepiece cap, which is really good for when you have glasses like I do. You don't mar up your glasses when you're looking through. And that's one thing that us aging astronomers have to realize, that a lot of us are using eyeglasses now, and some of the traditional eyepieces, like if you had a 9mm with a really, really tiny exit pupil, it's hard to get up there with your glasses on. You're not going to be able to do it. Okay. Eye relief on all Z series planetary eyepieces from Zhumell are 20mm. Okay. All of them are equipped with a 1.25-inch barrel diameter, which is the standard for today's market. Okay. The base of the barrels are all threaded to accept 1.25 filters. Okay, so you can put your infrared cutoff filter, you can put your various color filters if you want to pull out more detail out of the planets, and if you want to put your moon glare filter on there so you can look at the moon without blinding yourself. All of Zhumell's Z series planetary filters are equipped with threads. Okay, so that's a really good option. It's a really good thing for it. Let's see, what else could we talk about here? I also got them up on the website here. So we got a eye relief of 20mm. The coatings are fully multi-coated optics on them, so that's pretty good. It's going to cut down ghost imaging. It's going to cut down glare. You're going to get the best image performance out of these as you can. The number of elements in the Z series planetary eyepieces are 7. There's 7 elements in these eyepieces in general. And basically, when you're talking number of elements, the more elements of glass you have in the eyepiece, the better image you're going to get out of that eyepiece, the better performance you're going to get out of that eyepiece. Okay. Filter threads, yes. Parafocal, yes. They're all parafocal. Field stop diameter, 17.0mm. Okay, that's pretty standard. They don't have a barrel security recess, which basically means that if they come out of the telescope, they could fall. So you really want to make sure you tighten down your thumb screws on them. Blackened lens edges, yes. Now basically what that's talking about in the Zhumell eyepieces is, are they blackened inside the entire length and diameter of the metal housing itself? Yes, they are. And that's very important because you don't want glare from light. Otherwise you get what's called ghost imaging, which basically means you see like a double. You don't want that. Body material is aluminum, so they're heavy but they're lightweight. The average dimensions are about 3.8 inch by 1.7 inch. Okay, and Zhumell does offer a warranty on these, about 1 to 2 years. So they're really, really well built eyepieces. So if you're in the market for a very good planetary eyepiece and you can't afford the Orions or you can't afford the Meads or the Celestrons, Zhumell optics is a very, very good alternative. They make very high quality, high standard products. They listen to their customers and they feedback. They will take what the customer says, they will implement it into the design, and they'll come out with a new and improved product. And if you read the reviews on the Zhumell planetary eyepieces, they're off the charts. I mean, there's thousands of people that have bought these and they're all very happy with them. There's very seasoned astronomers that have lots of money to buy televiews and stuff, which are good eyepieces. I mean, that's the Cadillac of them. But a lot of them are carrying Zhumells because they're an outstanding eyepiece. A couple other goodies I have in my telescope eyepiece case right here is another thing I always recommend to my friends who have telescopes and to amateur telescope owners and astronomers alike. You want to have yourself a good little brush to go ahead and clean dirt and dust and grime off your optics. You don't really want to wipe them with anything because you can scratch the coatings on them. This right here is a camel hair brush. Okay, you can get this at any kind of art supply store. Very, very fine brush. It's camel hair. You know, it won't scratch your optics. And basically I just take this guy, and if I see a little dust on there, I'll just go ahead and get in where that eyepiece is. See that right there? And you just kind of get it out of there. Blow it off and you're ready to go for another night of observing. A couple other eyepieces that I have that are not Zhumell's, but I just want to show you what they are. This one, the first one, this has got to be my favorite eyepiece. This is the Mead Super Colossal LP26. Okay, it's a super colossal design, 26 millimeters of power. It's fully multi-coated, 1.25 inch barrel diameter. There's no barrel stop, so again, you got to be careful when you put these in your eye holder. Make sure you tighten everything down so when you're slewing, it doesn't drop your eyepiece onto the ground. Fully multi-coated optics, and this is actually one of my favorite because, let me see if I can show you that this optic was made in Japan. I don't know if you can read that, but it says Japan. I've had this for about 8 years, and I'll never part with it. This is one of my favorite eyepieces. It's good for all-around viewing, star clusters, nebula, the planets. Very, very good eyepiece, 26 millimeter format. Outstanding eyepiece. It's really the only Meade eyepiece I have right now, besides my 2-inch. I'll show you that in a minute. My second favorite eyepiece in my case is the Celestron. There it is right there. This is 32 millimeter fully multi-coated 1.25 inch eyepiece. Now I really like this guy because it's 32 millimeter, okay? Has a rubber eye cap. All my eyepieces have rubber eye caps on them. It really helps stop stray light and glare from insecurity lights, or just to help you get, you know, up on target without messing up your glasses. That's why I really like these eyepieces right here. They all come with a little rubber grip on it, so you can grab it in the cold, or you know, when you have gloves on, you can really handle the eyepiece and not drop it. Made of aluminum, just like everything else. The Meade is made of aluminum on top, with chrome plated steel on the bottom. Really nice eyepiece. This is their Series 4000 eyepiece. Their Series 4000 was predominant during the late 90s, early 2000s, and now Meade has come out with a Series 5000, which blows these out of the water. So I can't wait to, you know, when the time comes, I want to get some of those. And of course, every eyepiece kit would not be complete with a good Barlow. This one right here is a Meade, or I'm sorry, this is a Celestron. I apologize about that. I used to have a Meade. 2X Barlow, fully multi-coated, and this is also made in Taiwan. And basically what a Barlow is used for, you unscrew this right here, you put your eyepiece into the Barlow like this. There you go. And basically what a Barlow lens does is it magnifies so if this is a 26 millimeter, it's going to magnify that times 2. And the image you're going to get is basically like, I don't know, maybe a 14 millimeter out of a 26 millimeter eyepiece, because the Barlow, 2X Barlow, is going to magnify it 2 times. Barlows are really, really good to have. They're a good accessory to have with your telescope and your eyepiece accessories kit, because with a good Barlow, you don't have to go out and buy 15 eyepieces. You can have 4 or 5 eyepieces and a Barlow, and you have a whole range of focal lengths. Really good instrument to have. Excuse me, really good instrument to have. And let's see what else I got. I got my little, this is my Collimation Cap, a little hole in it. This is my Collimation Cap that came with my Orion 4.5 inch Star Blast Imaging OTA. And this really helps collimate the, put this in the eyepiece holder and you really collimate the focuser. You put it and you collimate the main mirror. Another accessory I have in my case. I have a whole wide range of filters. Okay, filters are very, very good if you want to get detail out of Mars, Jupiter. You want to see the cloud belts. Some filters are really good for Saturn to really show the Cassini division in the rings. So I got all kinds of little filters here. Yeah, what else I got here? I got a really good cloth to not only clean my glasses, but again, I know I told you earlier in the review that it's not really a good idea to take cloth to your lenses, but this is a cloth that's designed for eyeglasses. So using this, a specifically designed optics cloth on your lenses is not going to hurt anything. I'm just talking about like tissue paper, toilet paper. You don't want to use stuff like that. It's too coarse. Okay, so I always have one of these with me. Let me fold this back up real quick. Maybe put it back in my little box here, along with my brush. You always want a good brush. Helps remove dirt. And naturally, I carry my cameras in here. I have the Meade. This is the Meade Instruments. This is the LPI. This is the Lunar Planetary Imager. If you guys have seen my channel already, you've seen the slideshow I put up there of my first astro images. A lot of my moon images were taken with the Meade LPI. Unfortunately, Meade does not make this anymore. This is a discontinued product. It's been for a while. But it's a very, very, very good camera. You see the little sensor down in there. And this is primarily used for imaging the planets with the Barlow, or the moon. Okay, Celestron makes equivalent. Orion Telescopes makes an equivalent of a LPI. It's a really good thing to have in your accessories if you want to do some shooting like that. The next best thing I have in here is this is my baby. This is the Meade DSi-2 Pro Color CCD Imager. Okay, this is a lot of my deep sky. I utilize this for the deep sky. This is secondhand. Like you guys know, I usually buy most of my stuff secondhand because I'm on a budget. It comes with a really, really good sensor. It has an IR cutoff filter in there. If you can see it right there, there's a sensor. And again, Meade, for some reason, has decided to pull out of the CCD imaging market. Meade no longer makes the DSi CCDs, and they no longer make the LPIs. Again, a really dumb move from Meade. I think Meade should have continued with these. They should have stayed at least in the imaging camera industry. They could have done a really good job, but unfortunately they decided to walk away from it. I don't know why, but they did. Really, really good camera. It's old by today's standards as far as what other manufacturers are coming out with, but this guy is still very powerful to use, and it's a very important tool that I have for imaging. So all in all, that's pretty much my eyepieces right there. Like I said, Zhumell is really coming out with some good products for their customers. They really back up their customers. They have excellent quality. And if you're wearing eyeglasses like me, with their nice little pop-up little rubber caps right there, it's really, really good to get on target and be able to use your glasses. So I really enjoy these. Okay. So with no further ado, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and take out the 26mm. This is a 1.25 inch format. Okay, that's your barrel diameter. That is the standard by today's amateur astronomy market. And I'm going to show you. Let me get a drink here real quick. Talking in the camera like this, I'm sure you all know, it really dries out your throat. So anyway, this is the only 2-inch I own. It's a Meade. Let me go ahead and unscrew this. I want to show you guys how big this eyepiece is. This is a 2-inch diameter barrel. Oh yeah, guys, look at that. This right here is my famous Series 4000. There's a pop-up little, I'll show you guys the pop-up little, it has a little rubber eye cap like everything else. This is the Meade Super Colossal 56mm multi-coated 2-inch eyepiece. This thing is a beast. It probably weighs at least 3 pounds. It's a 2-inch eyepiece, see? And if I hold this up to a 1.25 inch eyepiece, look at the difference. Look how big that is. Let me flip them up like that. Boom. 1.25, which is the standard, 2-inch, which is now becoming the standard. So you can imagine how big these eyepieces are. Now, I bought this used because I do have a 2-inch diagonal on the back of the Meade LX90, which you guys probably saw in my LX90 review, that accepts a 2-inch eyepiece. This eyepiece is outstanding. It's great for viewing the M45, the Pleiades cluster. It's great for viewing galaxies. It's great for viewing... what else can you view? The star clusters, nebula, galaxies, everything. I don't use it on planets because it's a little too weak for that. But this guy really shows a lot of detail. This is my baby. This is my favorite eyepiece right here. It comes with 2 rubber bands on it. The rubber barrel bands. You see that right there. You can see how they're textured. So you can grab it easy. It's not going to fall out of your hand. The barrel's not recessed. So again, if this is, especially with the 2-inch, ladies and gentlemen, now this is important. These get very heavy. Depending on what model you buy, okay? Make sure these are secured properly in your eyepiece, your diagonal, because if you're slewing that telescope, it will fall out, and you will damage this and crack it, or you'll waste a lot of money because there goes $300, okay? It's a very, very good eyepiece, fully multi-coated, blackened edges. It does have the threading on the 2-inch eyepiece to accept a filter like a light pollution filter or infrared cutoff filter. My favorite eyepiece right here. This is the Big Daddy, the Big Mama. This is the 56mm Meade. And again, I'll show them up for size. You can totally tell how big that 2-inch is compared to this. If I was just holding this to like right this, you guys would be like, oh wow, Mike, that's a cool eyepiece. Oh yeah? How about that one? It's a lot bigger. This is the big gun. And just to show you, I'll pull out a Zhumell. This is the Zhumell 18mm. Look at the difference. It's still huge. I love this eyepiece. 2-inch eyepieces are pretty much now becoming the standard, besides 1.25, because this has a 65 millimeter, a 65 degree, I'm sorry, I believe it's 60 to 65 degree field of view, which is really good for viewing star clusters and nebula and galaxy like that, and objects like that. And if I use my 6.3 reducer on my back of my telescope, which basically takes it from a focal 10 to a focal 6.3, this guy really lights up because it's just wider. So it's a really good eyepiece to have. Meade doesn't make them anymore. The Series 4000 is being discontinued, but you can still find these if you look for them. It comes with a really cool little case. It goes just like that. Locks it in secure. I carry this in my bag that I use for my astronomy when I'm out in the field. So all in all, that's pretty much what I have chosen to utilize for my eyepieces. Hopefully, maybe I can convince some of you guys and gals that, hey, you know, you don't need to spend lots of money on really, really huge eyepieces or really expensive eyepieces. You can get really good eyepieces from the companies that are in the market today because they realize that quality is the name of the game. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that quick little review. I gave you some information on them, and hopefully you guys will, if you don't have any eyepieces yet, give Zhumell a look. They make some really good eyepieces. I'm happy with them. They show very, very good images, and I don't see any problem with them. And they work well for what my needs are. Maybe your needs are a little different, but these work just fine. And also, I gotta love the case from Celestron. This is a really cool case. It's nice fasteners, heavy, has foam in it, holds everything really, really well. It comes with a little handle, so you can carry it with you. So anyway, this is Michael Skoukakis from Buckeye, saying happy hunting with the telescopes, clear skies, and stay posted because I'm also going to do a more in-depth review on the 80mm Acrobat that I have up on the Meade. So you guys have a good morning, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.